It's 2020 now and we've seen many advancements of smartphones in the past 10 years. But how will smartphones evolve in the future? And which tech advances will it bring? We've looked at a few trends of the past years, and in particular 2019, and estimated at where these trends could go by the year 2030, looking at everything from foldable phones to USB ports and 6G. The first thing we'll discuss are foldable phones. Foldable phones really entered the phone industry in 2019, with multiple devices like the Samsung Galaxy Fold and Motorola Razr 2019. They're only going to get more popular as more devices are released. So, by 2029, could we all own foldable phones? Well, that depends on how phone companies navigate the next few years. At the moment, foldable phones are largely considered interesting gimmicks, but most people wouldn't buy it as their next phone. This is because of how pricey they are, and also because software hasn't been developed that really makes the most of the form factor. So if these foldable phones will become cheaper and if there is some more software available for these phones in the next few years, people will definitely consider to buy it. 10 years is a long time, and it's highly likely that foldable phones will become affordable and useful pretty soon, but that depends on how willing people are to ditch the tried and trusted form factor of normal phones. The second part we'll discuss is 5 and 6G. 5G is already out and about in several countries, although at the close of 2019 it still remains to be seen how long it will take for people to get on board with the tech. The added speed doesn't mean much for people in high-speed areas, where 4G is already faster than most people need, and no apps have been launched that really make the most of the high-speed connection. But in the coming years, companies will launch more 5G phones and fewer 4G handsets, following the pattern of every new generation of connectivity, to the point where it's normal to buy a 5G phone, just as you'd buy a 4G phone now. That's less because people need a high-speed phone, and more just because most of the devices on shelves will be 5G, with almost none 4G options. Towards the end of the decade, we could even see mentions of 6G, but we'll have to see how much people take to 5G and if we really need even faster connections before knowing for sure. The next thing we'll discuss is the future of front-facing cameras. One of the biggest differentiating features between different smartphones nowadays is the front-facing camera. Does your phone have a big notch like an iPhone? A teardrop notch like plenty of phones use? A punch hole cutout like many Samsung phones? A pop-up like several companies have embraced? Or something else entirely? Well, it's possible that future phones will have none of this all. The front-facing cameras could actually be under the display. Oppo has shown off this tech already, and it's likely other companies are working on it too. This method removes the front snapper from view, so it won't take up screen space, but also won't take up lots of internal space either. So what about the camera itself? Towards the end of 2019, we've seen a few smartphones use two front facers, one to take a picture and a secondary snapper for depth sensing, for more accurate background blur. In the next few years, and especially into 2030, we'd expect this trend to get more established. Selfies are one of the main types of picture you'll take on your phone after all. The last topic of this video is the disappearance of ports. Many phones are dropping the 3.5mm headphone jack already, and those things will be ancient history by 2030. It would be a surprise if many phones even in 2020 kept the port. As more users flock towards wireless headphones over wired ones, the amount of phone users who need to physically plug their headphones into their smartphone will reduce, and in 10 years, after years of advances in Bluetooth technology, we'd be surprised if many people use wired headphones at all. More uncertain is the presence of a USB port to plug your phone into a computer or charger. We've already seen a few prototype phones without any ports, as handsets can rely on wireless charging to power up and Wi-Fi, mobile data or NFC options to send information and files to a computer. It's likely as wireless chargers get more popular and, more importantly, faster at powering up your device, people will rely less on physical wires, making a port more and more redundant. In that way, it echoes the use of wireless headphones, and in 2030 portless smartphones could be the new normal. And that was it for this video. If you found this video interesting, don't forget to smash that like button. If you want to know more about how our world will look like in the future, you can always subscribe. See you guys in the next video.